Okay, I'm going to carve a leaf in a 1/4 inch by 1 inch steel, and I'm going to use it as a gate closer for this project that I'm doing. And this is just another way of carving. It's essentially the same principles, but it's going to have a different, obviously a different function. In fact, it has a function rather than an aesthetic. And I'm going to try to make it as cool and fancy as possible, and reflect back to the other one, but in a way that is going to be unique. And so what I've done here so far is I've cut into the piece a little bit, about 2/3 of the way across, a little bit more than half of the way across, in order to leave some width. And I'm doing the right side first because that's easiest for me, on the right side. Getting the metal molten, and there we have it. Starts to move a little bit. And then we'll cut back in here, start carving away. I'm circling the torch and getting a drop agitated, getting a drop of metal agitated so that it will begin to move. And here it's moving down the hill. I'm going to let it run onto the cold metal. Run on the cold metal. Maybe you can see that better from the back, I hope. Cutting away, and I'm just going across the width of the material, starting on my side first, so it's the easiest way to do it for me, and to see things get. I take things out of the way by starting closest to me on the corner, let's say closest to me, and then working back so that I can even it out. And after I get a droplet formed like this, I can do several things, one of which is just drop it on the floor. The other thing is that I can just pluck it off with a pair of pliers. And I'd rather pluck it off with a pair of pliers. That keeps me from getting sparks in my socks and other unpleasantries like that. Of course, the fire hazard of sparks bouncing around in a shop. Hot BBs of metal. So I keep digging in, and you'll see the leaf forms start beginning to form here. I'm going to dig in a little bit more, and I'm not going to put too much length on this. I'm going to join a piece of 1/4 inch rod to it. Now I'll start the other side. Heat the corner first. Actually, the pyramid, the triangle pyramid on this corner closest to me, is the easiest to heat up. So that gets hot first, then I take the metal down the hill. I've got a fan that's unfortunately blowing the sparks back onto me. Okay, and I've got a little, what we say in French, puddle, a little button. Pick the button off. Use the cone. Notice how the cone is actually curving as I dig into the surface. Okay, and I want to make this side deliberately different than the other side. Button again. And then I start seeing how I can You notice this curve is outside and rounded, and this side is curved the opposite way, so now I've got a harmonizing line set up here, and I'll start melting metal down and bring that curve back in, dancing with the other side. Now another advantage to this in terms of the door latch or the gate latch is that I've got this rounded surface to meet the gate post, the closer on the gate post, which will be just a slot that the leaf fits into. So when the gate closes, the locking of it will be the weight of the other end pulling upward on this end. And maybe I can develop that more for you and show you how that works ultimately. And I'm increasing the width of the leaf as I go. Still making the button here, and then it gets in the way as I progress downward, so it gets to be time to pick it off. And a fun thing about this kind of thing is, you know, the mind is inventive. And in this case, I've never seen a gate latch done like this, so that makes me happy. And even I can weld this droplet back on right here and make this part a little fatter. And then I'll dig in down here underneath it and go for the stem portion of it. Notice again, digging in with the cone, agitating the puddle and moving it down the hill. And this is one of those things where you have to be really patient with the material. Steel requires that we be patient with it. If there are any of you that have problems with patience, keep welding. I swear there are many life lessons that can be learned from this practice. Digging in. And now I get to assess which side I think is most correct. Most authentic. And then I'll work the other one to it. I'm suspect that this side is most correct. And mind you, I could do this with a hammer. But I like the practice of doing it with a torch. Now this is a Cobra, DHC 2000 torch by Cobra with a number 1.5 torch tip on it. If you buy the basic Cobra kit, you will not get the 1.5 with it. So make sure that you look into ordering the Master Pro kit, which has a lot of other cool attachments, extensions, extra torch tips that you'll never find anywhere else. The torch tip sizes. Some are very small and very unique, and you're capable of doing jewelry size stuff with it. And the 2.5 tip is really useful for working bigger stuff. Okay, we're carving in, and making that droplet happen. And So we now have a leaf form, but then what do we do with it? And I think I'll reset the camera and show you some other stuff.